Hey, what's good, everybody? This is Aaron Muhammad of EMProLtd, digital marketing and web design agency here in Chicago, Illinois. We have clients all over the world. We support and we focus on supporting small businesses and entrepreneurs. So, this is the how to create an online sales funnel for your small business. Webinar, but also workshop. I don't like to just consider webinars or workshops because you know, all the information in the world doesn't mean anything if you don't apply it. You got to apply it, you got to make it happen. And especially with something like this, like a sales funnel, it's all about application, action, learning from what you did, and then going back and perfecting it, or focusing on perfecting as much as possible. So thank you so much for joining me. And we're going to get to some really great information, some, tools that you can use to kind of give you that edge. Whether you're just starting out or you're transitioning, you're changing things up in your current funnel, or you are, looking at different types of ways to create funnels and you haven't started one just yet. So it's a little bit of everything for everybody, no matter what stage of your, the knowledge that you have as of yet. That's perfectly fine. The main thing, of course, you're here. So you obviously have either a smartphone or, computer, boom, right off the bat. That's what you need with internet access. And then just the drive to make it happen for your business and for your dreams, whether it be your small business or your entrepreneurial venture that you're trying to start out, and you're just figuring out a great way to get a regular, consistent level of business and a good pipeline of business coming in. So why are you here? We're going to address that very clearly right now. You need more sales, whether it be starting out. Once again, you want to make sure you have a consistent pipeline, as we call it, of sales, right? Or you're currently at a stage where your business is already okay. Maybe you've got some sales, maybe you've got some business coming through the door, but it's not as on a consistent basis as you would like. The one thing about being an entrepreneur, and this is from my experience of being an entrepreneur my entire life, um, it does have that level of uncertainty, right? So that's the reason why a lot of people stay at jobs that they don't like. And even if they're paid well, they stay at jobs that they don't like because I like that security and assurance of knowing where that next paycheck is coming from, where my income is coming from. And that's the thing about, if you know how to set up a pipeline, a sales pipeline and a sales funnel, right? Then you can develop that for yourself. Because the funny thing about it is, the company you're working for, if you have a full-time job, hey, I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying there's a lot of people who have full-time jobs that don't want them. They just don't like where they are. They just want some level of security. Your company does the exact same thing. If you don't think every major corporation in the world has a well-developed sales funnel and sales pipeline, most likely they have multiple. So you're right, they don't have one, they have multiple. Okay, so you're here to get the idea and get the information to learn how to generate that consistent pipeline and that consistent funnel, right, of revenue being generated and coming in. Also, how do I identify those ideal customers? That's one of the things you have to make sure you have a solid ground and understanding of, because that is quite possibly the area which is high level on the funnel as we get into it, but an area people miss the most. And it's the area that actually will make your funnel just far, far, far less efficient, right? You will not have an effective funnel, and you won't have an efficient running funnel that you can focus running your business and relying on that funnel if you don't know who your ideal customer is. How to create one specifically for your brand. The best thing about it is that at the end of the day, the fundamentals don't change. So we're going to go over the fundamentals, and that way you can apply it to whatever works for you and your brand. Everything from music to pharmacy, retail, to any type of business coaches, to banking. I mean, literally, you can take it to any area, and as long as you have those foundations, you have that ground foundation understood, then you're good to go. And then, of course, create your action plan. To create it, like I said, doesn't mean anything if we're not actively making it happen. So, what is a sales funnel? Um, Quite possibly, I think this is the most straightforward and generic. And I say generic so we start thinking about how to plug in our information, because you want to focus on your brand this whole time. Outline of a funnel. And that's why I wanted to design it this way. That way it helped you guys start automatically when you see this. Okay, this is what I need to do, or this is how it's going to start for when I start building out my funnel or changing the funnel that I currently have, because that could be the stage you're at right now. And it's simply just think of a real world funnel. Think of a tornado. Like seriously, that's really what it is. It's it's truly the same, not only diagram, but it's at the core of it, it's pulling information in, right? This is the only difference from a sales funnel from any other kind of funnel. It's pulling as much as possible from the top, okay, and concentrating it as we go lower and deeper into the funnel. Okay, at the very top of that funnel, you'll have some substance poured in. You have something coming in, but a massive amount of it, whether it's energy, whether it's wind, water, doesn't matter, right? If you have a funnel that you're using to try to get water or some other liquid into a smaller jar, into a smaller container, it's the same exact concept. You pull in as much from the top as possible so you have enough to work with, and then you funnel it down into something that's really going to become, at the end of the day, as you can see here, a fan. So you take the unaware, a person who has no idea who you are, what you do, how you do it, all that stuff, and then boom, you turn them, or you turn that group or people from that group into a fan. That's literally what you're doing with your sales funnel. All right. So the visitor, whomever, person online, social media, doesn't know about your business, doesn't know who you are. They get an idea of what you do. Okay. And this is where that they become that lead potentially. They get an idea of what you do. They inquire about what you do. We go farther deeper and we go deeper into it, right? Then they become more of a targeted lead and potential prospect for you to then to convert them to a customer because they've now expressed some interest. So they've now turned themselves into a fully identified lead, okay? A qualified lead that you want to transition to a customer, that they're actually invested in whatever offering that you have. They come back, they stay along, they tell other people, that's a fan. And that's literally how it goes, right? If you don't look at your current customers and your past customers with this concept, then that will be the first place you want to start. How did they find out about me? Why did they become customers? And are they happy enough with my service, with my products to share with the rest of the world? Okay. The average business to business B2B customer will look at five, which is a crazy number, at five or more pieces of content before making a purchase. All right, so this is coming from Vice President Forrester, and I can tell you right now, they produce a lot of content. Okay, and whenever we're talking about the areas of research and analysis, information, being shared, news, finance, investments, insurance, those companies like Forrester, in those types of industries, what they're looking at, they're constantly having to produce content to showcase why you want to work with them. So they know, coming from the vice president of a company that's been around as long as they have, as successful as they are, to say that you need five pieces or more of content and make sure that you're putting that in the face of those potential customers beforehand. If you're not doing that, hey, I'm sorry, you're already missing out. That's the God's honest truth. You're already missing out. So right off the bat, like I said, that's the whole purpose of this, is that right at the top you're thinking, okay, how to start building that awareness with my target audience, or with the target audience, or with the audience in general, so they can be aware of what I do. Now you need to be thinking about, what kind of content can I develop to generate that? And the cool part about it is, with social media, it makes it so much easier to see different ways to get ideas about content, right? We have so many different opportunities. It's just a matter of what content works and what content doesn't. So look at it like this. And sometimes it's good to look at things in a flow. I've noticed that working with people and having to explain things, with clients, but then also just in general, with my team members. Sometimes we look at one diagram, it doesn't help, but a flow. And flows, we see flows all the time, right? Everything we do when it comes to how we're shopping or something like that, it's some type of flow in there. So let's look at the flow, right? You build that awareness on social media. You qualify that person, maybe potentially, right, in the exploratory phase with a sales call. But here's a point that people tend to miss. And honestly, this should come up multiple times, but in this a very initial flow, let's at least do it once, a follow-up. One of the things that we often do in business is we don't follow up. You get that customer in, hey, they had a great time, they bought your product, they're happy, they're not upset, all that good stuff, and boom, they're out the door. Wait, whoa. Whoa, that's not good. That's not good. You want to have some follow up. So you notice right here at that first stage, we're following up, right? And then we transition, we turn them into qualified leads, because if we followed up and we reached out and said, hey, we know we had that sales call, or we know we had that exploratory call, or we just had that conversation, going through some key points that they have brought up and how you can help them with those areas or different products and services maybe you guys talked about. Okay, now let's take it to the next stage. Let's actually get the sale out of it, right? Are they a qualified lead or not? Something you want to move forward with? Here are some of our offerings. Here's the actual proposal for our work or our service. It can go a couple different ways, but that follow up needs to happen to qualify that lead, because the person says, you know what, we had a great conversation. If you didn't get it in that call, you definitely want to get it from this follow up, because that qualifies them. Are they an actual lead, or are they a person that is just not going to happen right now? And if it's not going to happen right now, that's fine. That's cool. Just keep it a bean with them. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it real with them. Listen, it's not going to happen now. They're not interested. Great. But if you didn't do this follow-up email, you would have never qualified that call on that person, right? That exploratory phase was just to find out, get more information, make sure you guys are both the right fit, because you run your business. You don't have to take every customer, every client, right? You want to make sure it's somebody that's going to become a returning client, someone that's going to become a raving fan, somebody with work that you're going to be proud of producing and you could talk about, you can be happy showcasing. So that follow-up email should be leading to you get the rest of the information necessary to build out that lead database, and that lead database will truly be a qualified lead. You notice what it says, lead magnet in exchange for data. That's what that symbol means, in exchange for data. So what you're getting is giving them a lead magnet. You're giving something that's of value to them that can help them, okay, to get more data from them, whether it be, okay, referrals, more contact information, more information that you need to make a proper proposal. Because maybe you're saying at this point, I want to make a proposal based on our conversation, keep that conversation brief, to the point, in depth, send that follow-up email, get the information you need, and now here's the proposal for our business and our service. Usually if you're dealing with a higher priced ticketed item, like you're offering services at 5,000, 10,000, something like that, at 1,500 even, in some cases we may want to do that. You want to show that level of service to them, and so that, hey, I took this much time on you because this is what I would like to do for you. I'm going to be that dedicated service provider for you. Which, let me tell you right now, 9 times out of 10, if you've done the proper steps of building awareness, qualified them initially in that prospect and that sales call, right? And then ended that call on such a good note where it's a solid confirmation from them, hey, yes, send me an email, follow up with me. You don't even ask the question though, but you let them know, hey, an email is going to come your way. But you built that rapport in those first conversations, in the first two touches and the pieces of contact, or 2 types of contact, that sale is going to be a lot easier, to where they're looking at like, oh yeah, you didn't even have to send me the email. I was ready to buy right now. You could have just called me right back, or we could have finished, we could have had the sale right there. But that's why you're qualifying in those first 2 pieces. So this is a really solid flow that you want to make sure that, you might add a few pieces here and there, but you always want to have this idea of, these are the steps that have to be done. You have to generate that proper awareness. You have to connect with them at some point. So it's either a call, it's an immediate email after you make that awareness. You want to start building that personal one-on-one relationship. You want to follow up right after you build that relationship. Then you want to make sure you qualify them as a lead, okay, or later, maybe later on they're not interested now, but as a lead for sure now. And if it's not, then move on and focus on the people that will become the lead. And then that way you can give dedicated service and you can have returning customers and more sales. Okay, so think about this flow whenever, and that's why I'm leaving it up here. Think about this flow whenever you are really starting out for your first time. What will that flow be? What would that look like? What are those pieces of content I'm going to have here? Which social media channel? Am I going to make calls or initial emails? What's that automated follow-up going to look like? What's the lead magnet going to be for that particular product or service that I'm offering? Because I want to get a sale for that specific product or service. So a pipeline. Now, I mentioned this earlier. We're focusing on the sales funnel, but that leads to a sales pipeline. Now, a sales pipeline, okay, this is a slight difference, and keep this in mind, that a pipeline, the idea is that the funnel is designed to develop the pipeline, right? Because if I have the funnel working, this is the way you look at it. My sales funnel is working, right? It's actually adding to the pipeline of business. Okay, so they are separate. Keep that in mind. They are totally separate in that regard, that one helps to feed the other. Because if you notice, a lot of the steps are very similar, but you see where it says lead generation and qualification at the top? To make that sales pipeline a lot more efficient, you can get a lot out of the way with the funnel, meaning that you do a lot of the qualifications with the funnel. If I have you in my sales pipeline, that means I can have a pool of leads, qualified leads. And remember when I came to that point in the flow where I said, okay, now you have your lead database. Here's the point: you have your qualified lead database right here. They're right there. Some people became immediate customers. Some people didn't. So we flip it up and we say, okay, for the ones that didn't, they're at least in that sales channel. I've already gone through those first two stages. Maybe there's an area that I didn't connect with them. It could have been, and this is sad to say, but this happens a lot to us. It could have been you just were trying to sell too hard. You didn't listen enough. But they at least said, hey, send me an email. Let's stay in touch. I'm not interested right now. Okay, understandable. You know what you do? The follow-up. Now, we had a conversation last week. I know, we spoke last week. This could be a simple automated email set up for anybody that does not close a deal, that does not close a sale. You have it triggered after a week, or you go in there, you manually do it, or you have your business development person, you have your sales team member, you have your intern. You know what? Everybody we called last week that didn't become a customer, today, this is the day that we scheduled that we're going to follow up with them with an email just saying, hey, I know we weren't able to go forward, blah, blah, blah. But you didn't say don't contact me. So, right, this is why you're reaching back out to them. So you want to use a strong sales funnel to really build out and fortify that sales pipeline. Okay, and here's the difference. So you see here, you have it, yes, awareness. And that awareness from the sales funnel could be social media, right? But contact could be the DM, right? So let's say in that awareness piece, you said, hey, you know what, if you guys like what we posted here, tag us or use our hashtag. And everyone that hashtags, we'll reach out to them, we'll DM, right? We'll connect with them that way. The people who do it obviously are the people who are interested. Then with that first communication, that DM, whether you're doing it, manually or with a bot, you reach out to them and you start connecting right then and there. The next one would be the evaluation, the intent. What do they really want? Can you really provide that for them? Okay. Proposal and evaluation. Because evaluation, intent, you're going really close, but that proposal piece, have you gotten to the level where you can actually send them a proposal? Where you're confident you're going to get a close? Because you notice we're going deeper into the funnel, which means that intent area, that's where it's going to get a lot of people going to start dropping off. So you want to make sure the time that you spend on proposals, the time you spend on proposals in the offering is most likely going to sell. If you run a retail business or an e-com business, there is no difference in this. Okay? There's no difference because by the time your product gets to that shelf, now you're at the proposal stage. You are at the actual stage where a person is making a decision, do I want to buy this or not? This is why companies at retail spend so much time and money and dedication to understanding what will most likely sell in this neighborhood, this community, this city, this country. So that's what I'm saying. If you're not thinking about it like that, you definitely want to. This is a great graphic by Active Campaign. Active Campaign, they know what they're doing. Okay, they've been in an email marketing game, automation game for a long time. They know exactly what they're doing. And I've used Active Campaign for clients before in the past. So when I saw this, I'm like, this is a great example of just a comparison of the two. That is so valuable. If you get this basic understanding down, I tell you right now, your pipelines, your funnels are going to look a lot better, and they're going to perform a lot better because you're thinking about it. Contact, qualifying. I got to really qualify people. Who am I about to spend this much time making proposals on, making calls for, that type of thing? If you want to spend your hours cold calling, okay, do it. But it's not as efficient because the time you spend cold calling, you could be working on the current customers you have, okay, and building out better relationships with them, as opposed to just cold calling people that you're hopefully are going to be interested in your product. Qualify so that way those proposals and those closings and those retentions will be higher. So, who are you? Okay. The most important thing, and this goes to making sure that you're talking to the right people. You have to establish your brand message in order to create a successful funnel. You have to, right? And the pipeline piece is only going to get stronger because of the simple fact is people know your brand and trust your brand and believe in your brand because you have been consistent in your branding. Okay. And this is what will keep those qualified leads coming in automatically because you're focusing on the brand message, meaning that the only people, or not the only people, but the majority of people picking up on it are the people that respond to your message. They've already started to qualify themselves for you. I'll say that again. Your brand message should be consistent because when that message is consistent, the people that pick up on your brand, right, will be the people most likely that you work with, that you close deals with, that become customers that you retain. So your branding is going to do it for you. Your branding is going to help the potential customer qualify themselves for you. This is what the most successful companies do. They don't get me wrong, they have sales teams, they have marketing teams, they have all that. But they spend their time on this kind of stuff to make sure that they're not talking to just everybody. They're talking to the people that they know will most likely take advantage of their offerings, whether it be products or services. And the best part about being an entrepreneur and a small business owner, you connect with your customers more than a big company, right? You know your customers more than Coca-Cola knows their customers, or should know their customers, right? Because the Coca-Cola CEO and heads of the company, they don't see half of their customers. But the funny part about it is they are doing so much to take the time to figure out ways to do that. Social media, sales representatives, people on the streets, because they have those resources, right? But you, best yet, you're right there in the front line of your storefront, of your e-commerce website. So there's no reason, there's no barrier. There should be no reason why you don't know your customers. Maybe you don't know them all by name. No. But you know these are the problems my business solves. So know your brand. Who are you? That's the very first and most important step when you start building out that funnel. Make sure that because you have to qualify from there. So the 5 questions you need to answer to create those effective funnels and pipelines, right? It's 5 very straightforward questions. And if you notice right here at the tip, what does it say? Visibility, awareness, they go hand in hand. Second, of course, is sales, right? We're looking at conversions. That's what we're focusing on. That's why these are called sales funnels and sales pipelines, right? I like awareness. I like generating awareness. But I will tell you right now, your ultimate focus should be the sale, not just building awareness. And we're going to get a little bit more in depth in that in a moment. So number 1, what I do and why. Know your why. If you don't know why you do it, you won't be able to tell people why you do it. And let me tell you right now, people buy and purchase and shop with you for why, based on your why, not what. If that's the case, think about it this way. What separates one Toyota car dealership from another Toyota car dealership? Yeah, it could be location, it may be some deals, it may be some prices, it may be a few things here and there, but at the end of the day, they're all the same, right? Let's just be real. I know no one wants to hear that, but at the end of the day, you are essentially selling the exact same product. So why would I go to one dealership as opposed to another? Why would I pick Coca-Cola over Pepsi? At the end of the day, they are essentially the exact same product or type of product, right? No. Coca-Cola represents something totally different than Pepsi represents. This Toyota dealership represents something different from what this Toyota dealership represents. Nike represents something different than Adidas. Because I can tell you right now, the majority of people who wear Nike are extremely loyal to Nike. The majority of people who wear Adidas are very, very loyal to Adidas. It's that brand recognition, right? But it's the why behind those companies. Nike represents championships. Nike represents victory. Nike represents accomplishment, right? There's a reason why, even though, don't get me wrong, a lot of great athletes are endorsed by Adidas and work with Adidas all the time, right? And not just those two companies. A lot of athletes work with a lot of different companies. But we all know that when we talk about, oh, they signed a deal with Nike, it does have a different sound to it. And it's meant to have a different sound to it. Okay? So if you need help with that, there's a great link in the description for mission statements to understand and how to develop your why. If you haven't, you should practice this on a regular basis. Maybe not daily, but if you are just starting out, yeah, you do want to get this down daily. You want to get this down on paper. You want to make sure that's at the top. That should be, when I had my first office, that was literally at the door, because I wanted to look up at it if I was on a call, and if somebody asked me why, oh, I'm glad you asked that, to where it became natural. I have a vision statement, a purpose statement, a mission statement from my personally, all the way to my company, all the way to the different services we use and that we provide. Because of the simple fact, when people buy from you, they're buying for their why, for the why, not just the what. And that's what you should focus on, because that's what differentiates you from everyone else. Sales funnel, people. This is a sales funnel. Who are we selling it to? Who are we talking to? You need to know that. When you start building out that awareness, this is what I'm saying. If you get all these things down packed before you even start building out that funnel, you won't have to say, okay, I need to advertise to 25 million people. Yeah, that might sound great, but you just said you had to advertise to 25 million people. You say you're not going to have 25 million customers. I'm sorry. It's not. It never works that way. There is nothing that works that way, because what we're doing is a numbers game, and we have to qualify people. If you have the budget to advertise to 25 million people, here's the funny part about it. I still said 25 million people, right? Are they all the same age? No, they're different ages. So now you have maybe 2 million people of this age, a million people of that age, 500,000 people of this age. You're throwing it all around. You don't really, it's too much to try to figure out, especially if you're an entrepreneur or a small business just starting out. Know who that audience is when you start off. Okay, I'm going to give myself, I want to attack Chicago. Okay, Chicago, very diverse city, very big city, lots of people, one of the most populated cities in the world. But I've at least dwindled down to Chicago, right? I've at least started there. Now, from Chicago, I want to focus on this community. Okay, great. Now, maybe the community is a lot more of an individual, has a very specific makeup. But from there, I want to have an even more specified makeup within it. Age group, occupation, industry, even specific. Let's get down to specific industry and occupation if I can. I want to target project managers in this industry. And when you get down to that level, you can start to say, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, in this community, I was going to contact 100,000 people. There's only 50 people in that community that fit that profile. So maybe I pull back and I don't look at just this community. Now I look at the entire city. You see what I got? I got specified. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. It's too low. It's too close. Let me zoom out and come back a little bit farther. You want to get these types of pieces of information as much as possible before you start building out that funnel. In-store questionnaires and surveys if you own brick and mortar. Awesome. Collect email addresses if you are going to run ads or if you're going to do anything organic or if you're going to own a group. One of the best ways to do this is a Facebook or LinkedIn group. LinkedIn group, Facebook group, Quora, Quora threads, Reddit threads. These are great ways, and free, mind you, ways to identify your target demographic before you start building out that funnel even more. So, how do you identify your star customers? Look at your current customers and look at your past customers. Who are the people that are staying on? Who are the people that are dropping off faster? Who are the people that you will retain longer? Who are the people referring? Use what you have already on hand as your initial data to work with. All right. So, what problems do you solve? Right? It goes back to your products and service. What problems do they have? What are the issues? What are the things that your customers are looking for? Right? I can't tell you what I like the most when I've seen it with a couple clients when they talked about how they improved their sales when they're marketing, when the customers are like, I've been looking for this for the longest. I've been looking for your product for a while. And I've had clients come back to me like, hey, I spoke to my customers and they were like, a lot of customers didn't even know my business existed. Exactly, because you probably weren't even talking to them. You have to relate what you do to what they need to get done or what they need solved for them, what they need help with. Keep it real simple. Yes, your plan can have some complexities to it, but keep it real simple. What's the problem? What's the need that I'm fulfilling, that I'm solving for, that I'm helping these people with exactly? And I know if you're thinking from a creative standpoint, because most creatives won't think like this. This is typically more traditional businesses that want to think like this. But creatives should look at it from that standpoint too. Am I just selling my art to be selling my art? Okay, great. That's awesome. But if you really want to turn it into a business, you do have to look at it from a perspective of the consumer, just enough. Maybe I want to create music that lets people forget about their day, their work day. Maybe I want to create music that when people go out and party, they plop on my music. I'm still doing the same thing. I'm just coming at it from a different angle. I want my music to be party music. I've literally met 20 artists, okay? 20 artists that was their main focus, and 20 artists that have done that and made nice, very nice careers out of it. They want to just make music to party to. They want to make music for people to forget. I will tell you right now, one of the most successful artists who's been doing it for quite some time, okay? I know you probably wouldn't even expect me to say his name, but he is very on brand. He's on his brand. And it's extremely consistent. It's extremely clear to see. If you've ever seen the artist, the rapper Tyga, I will tell you right now, I cannot tell you enough. And I'm using it as an example because he is the perfect example from an artist standpoint that not necessarily on a Drake level by far, not necessarily like Beyonce, not necessarily, Adele, somebody in that level, but has consistently been able to pump out the same music to the same demographic on the same level. DJ Khaled, same thing. Okay, when their music comes on, when their music plays, we know the vibe that they're going for. So that's what I'm saying. Artists, musicians, authors, there's no difference. What am I trying to solve? This goes back to my brand. So now I know who to focus on and build out that funnel. So I can get the right amount of streams, so I can plan on the downloads I need, so I can plan on the album sales that I need, so I can eventually, whatever it be virtual or in person, have an expectation of the number of concert tickets I'm going to sell or event tickets I'm going to sell. Right? It's the same concept. So it's about them, not you. Always be genuine when you're listening. Pull in that feedback. It's not about necessarily going knocking on somebody's door and asking them questions or putting a survey in their face. It could simply be let me put the information out there And then let me look at the comments and find out what people are saying. Let me run a few surveys, email surveys, or something like that. Let me see what my competitors are even saying. And don't focus on the price. I know that might sound weird, but when you're doing this, especially when you're building out that funnel, you want to focus on the value of what you do, not necessarily the price tag of what you do. Because a lot of people and sadly, I see this the most with entrepreneurs. A lot of entrepreneurs undervalue themselves. And I understand if you're getting started, you want business, you need money. That's understandable to a point. But you got to also keep in mind, if you sell your product, in other words, your product and service yourself at a very low price tag, what about the time when you need to raise prices? And people are going to ask you, well, what has changed? Am I getting something better? And I know this might sound crazy, but I'd rather you start out with a high ticket amount and then bring it down a bit based on feedback, as opposed to a very low ticket amount and then try to bring it up. I can tell you right now from my own experience, from the experience of people I work with experience of people that are going to be on a podcast as well. They have it the same way. They've experienced it the same way. If you start out low and then you try to go higher, it will be it's exactly what's going to turn into an uphill battle. It's going to be an uphill battle. You're fighting to get there, to get to that price tag. Okay, so don't do that to yourself. Don't shoot yourself in the foot before you even start. Where do they find solutions? Once again, it's about them, not you. Where do your customers find the solutions that they're looking for? Okay, that's where you need to be. If you love TikTok and you love Snapchat, but your customers on Twitter and Pinterest, thank you, Snapchat. Thank you, TikTok. Bye. I got to go over there. Now, obviously, Snapchat was the hot thing, for a minute. It's definitely kind of cooled off. Not even kind of, it's definitely cooled off. Now TikTok is blowing up everywhere, and everybody's like, "Oh, I need to be on TikTok." Are you sure? The reason why I say that is only because being on TikTok doesn't necessarily mean you're going to convert on TikTok. Now, if you're going for awareness and this is the top of the funnel, great. Are you even are you making awareness? Are you becoming aware? Are you becoming, are you in the face of the people who actually are going to buy from you? Or are you just being in the face of everybody? It's like the old saying goes, if everything's a priority, then there's no priority. That's what's happening here. If everything's a priority, there is no priority. Okay? So one of the places you definitely want to be, especially if you're a consumer, if you're focusing on the consumer, your business to consumer brand, right? You have retail, physical retail and online retail. You for sure, of course, you want to have a Facebook like page, right? But you also want to be on digital directories and business directories. Things like Yelp, TripAdvisor, if you're in the hospitality and travel industry. Trustpilot is another fantastic one. You want to make sure you have your profiles there where people can leave reviews and people can talk, because 9 times out of 10, that review, if you get one really solid good review, that will help you translate to at least one more business closing. Because a lot of people, what do they ask you? Especially if you're a new business. What have you done? I would like to hear from some of your past clients and customers. What have you produced? Let me see your work. Now that you have that out there, boom, when you start connecting with people to try to build awareness, they go, oh, wait a minute, I see all your reviews online. I now have had more people come to me saying, as opposed to what they used to say, which was, hey, I found you, I found this ad, I found that posting. Great. Oh, I saw your review on Google. I saw your review on Yelp. I saw your review on, this gig site. I saw your review on Facebook. I've seen reviews about your business, and they're good reviews. I would like to find out, can you help me? Or how can you help me? That's taking care of some of that work. It's starting to qualify. Notice what I'm doing already? I'm qualifying the leads. I'm evaluating the leads. Before we even get to those last 2 stages, you don't even have to get them technically in the funnel. This is the funnel actually working. That's why I say when people think about a sales funnel, they think it's all these, these levers and gears. No, it's actually taking care of a lot of this stuff. And then making sure the person's going to the right direction, the next direction properly, and you're guiding them through it. So listen, social listening tools like Hootsuite, Sprout Social, Social Mention, fantastic tools to use. Some of them have free accounts, some of them have really cost-effective trials, but either way, you want to get used to using social listening tools because you want to hear and you want to get that feedback and you want to know what people are saying about you. Online reviews and ratings, Etsy, shops, eBay, obviously, Amazon, they have those. But then outside of those, if you don't sell on the platform, you just want to get reviews. And you also want to see what people are talking about. You want to connect with your local community. Yelp is a solid one. Trustpilot, Better Business Bureau. There's a ton of them. Keep in mind that keywords and hashtags basically are interchangeable in this sense because the words that you follow, that you track to get feedback from online are the same things that you may like and you most likely will be using as keywords when you start working on things like SEO, right? So you want to know what those keywords are and you want to know what those hashtags that you should be following and listening and looking at because you may translate those to the same keywords for your website or for any of your web platforms that you may be putting out there to generate those leads and to capture those leads. Okay. So how can you solve the problem? And now this goes back to your product and service now, but you also have to translate that in the post. You have to translate that in the content. So you always need to make sure you have a consistent call to action, right, that you're using based on what it is that you're offering in exchange for their data, because this is that lead qualification area. Keep it real simple. Your call to action should always be real simple. Hey, if you have an ebook that you want them to download, download here. Very simple. If you want to add them to your email list, because in the email list or in the newsletter, you're going to be sharing information to help them, and that's the whole point of your lead generation tool. Subscribe now. Sign up here. You want to keep it very straightforward and to the point. Now we got to build that funnel, right? We know who we are. We know what kind of problems we want to solve. We have an idea that of what type of lead generation tool we want to use, but more importantly, we know we have to have a consistent call to action to get them to become a qualified lead, to qualify themselves as a lead, right? So we can properly build out this funnel that we're drawing out throughout our entire presentation here, right? So, number one, you got to have a place for them to go. And in almost every case, and I'm a web designer, web developer, obviously run a web design agency. I can't stress this enough. There's some things you can get away with not having a website for. This is not one of them. If you have a sales funnel, it makes no sense, especially if you're paying for an automated sales funnel. There's a lot of them out there. Obviously ClickFunnels is one of the most famous. But there is no reason not to have your own website, especially if you're about to invest in building a sales funnel, and more importantly, if you're paying for an automated sales funnel. Here's why. Number one, your website is your piece of the internet. You literally own digital real estate when you have a website. Look at it that way. That's the way you really should look at it. Yes, the reason why there's literally millions of websites out there right now is because right now it's a lot more cost effective and affordable. If owning a website costs as much as a house, obviously, right? Qualifying leads, right? Qualifying that, there would be far less. But the funny part is it's actually almost, and it's getting there, almost at the exact same level of importance when it comes to your business. That is if you have a storefront. In fact, with the way business has transitioned, it's actually more more productive to have the website instead of the brick and mortar because of all the other expensive costs on the brick and mortar. Don't get me wrong, there's other expenses on the website. If you want certain apps to be created, if you want, custom coding and, you want to hire an agency like myself, yes, those things are going to cost you. But at the end of the day, to own a website outright, just get a good website up there, is not very expensive at all. Okay, for almost every type of budget. And let me tell you, I'm the kind of person that I'm not coming at you from millions of dollars of background. I'm not coming at you and never had to pay a bill in my life. I'm coming at you from the perspective when I say not that expensive, that hey, I can save $1 every week and have a website within a few a few weeks. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you have to get it down to that level, that you can't save $1 every day, you can't save $5 every day. Everybody comes from different experiences. I will never ever say we come from the same experiences, right? So even if you have to get down to, nickel and diamond it, you can make it happen. Once again, if you have a phone with internet signal, that's how you're here, right? You have a laptop or desktop with an internet signal, that's how you're here, right? If you can afford it, and I mostly mean on the time side afford it, let's do some research right after this and find a free website that you can start building for yourself at the very least. You start and work with what you have until you can really get to where you want to be, right? And that's where we are here. You have to have the website, because if you don't, it's going to be so much harder for you to not only capture the data you need to build out the funnel, but more importantly, to grow your business no matter what you do. Whether it's building out the funnel right away, whether it's making some initial sales, I can tell you right now, the person with the most basic website and at least 5,000 leads, okay, will always have a better chance of being, because it's all about execution, will always have a better chance, and it will be in their favor of being more successful, okay, than the person who's just trying to throw different things out there, make a bunch of calls, type up everything, write down everything, and has no way to have that business working while they sleep and have that business working while they're away from it. Because that's what your website is actually doing for you. It's a digital storefront. Whether it's making a sale and conversion, or at least just bringing them deeper into the funnel where you're capturing the lead, it's your digital storefront. I can't tell you one of the best feelings on earth, honestly, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, than opening up, my email in the morning when I go to my email time, because I make sure, to balance it. And I look, oh, you've got 20, 50, 60 new leads, new inquiries, new forms filled out. And I didn't even do anything. I was asleep. That's a great feeling. That's a fantastic feeling. Yes, I did it all on the front end. So on the back end, I could just collect. And then even better, if I set up the funnel, or if I set up things properly, you wake up in the morning, oh, you've got this many orders. You have this many downloads. A website literally makes all that possible as a tool, and a tool is only as good as you've effectively used it, right? You can't hammer a nail into the wall with a pair of scissors. No. And if you do, that sounds like it takes you a long time to get it done. But more importantly, it's all about the tool and knowing what to do with the tools. So if anybody says, oh, I had a website and it didn't work, you didn't use it. Just be honest with yourself. You didn't use it, or they didn't take the time to figure out how to work it. And that's where, if you have the resources, you hire somebody like myself. If you have the resources, you hire a freelancer. If you have the time, that's another resource, right? You take the time to learn on your own. I suggest you do both. I suggest you take the time to learn how a lot of the things work on your own. And then for the things that you can't handle, you go get somebody who's a professional at it. That's what the most effective business owners do. It's when you try to do everything on your own, you don't get it done. And I can tell you, right, that's the reason why this is stage one of the funnel. You have to have the website. There's no reason not to. And you can connect everything to it. And it becomes automated. Like I said, in the morning, I'm looking at this. The person came through Facebook, okay, signed up. I immediately send them out an email, automated email. I didn't have to do it. From that email, they downloaded the content. They qualified themselves for me. And what I just gave you, mind you, is organic. I didn't pay for the ad. I don't, and this is a personal note, but I don't pay for a lot of ads. There's a lot of people like, oh, well, you can make this from advertising. You can make that. You don't have to. The thing is, if you know the foundation, you know these fundamentals like this, Website essentials for your sales funnel and for your sales pipeline. You can start off with paid ads and then completely get off of them and only rev up and rev down as you need. You qualify them and they immediately get added to your CRM, your customer relationship management tool. There's some free ones and there's some, once again, inexpensive ones. I would always suggest have a lead capture tool or element on every page of your website, at least one, even on the product and service ones. I've seen that done very effectively. I've added it to a couple customers, clients' websites, and it has worked immensely. Set up automation tools. Zapier is a fantastic automation tool. Link in the description. Check it out. Use it. For sure, it'll make your life so much easier. I can't tell you enough. Free. There's some free aspects of it too. Next up, connect to third-party storefronts. Okay? You want to connect to third-party storefronts because most likely you're going to be selling across the board, and this also gives you an opportunity to build awareness. So your awareness, so you could build, Amazon, Zazzle, eBay, Etsy, Facebook Marketplace. Be as in many places as you can that fit your brand. But make sure they connected and integrated back into your website because you want those sales and you want that data. I'll give you a good example. I had worked with an author that was a client. He sold his book through Amazon. Now, for those who don't know, if you don't sell through Amazon, Amazon is very cautious in how much data they share with the store owners, even if you're selling your own product. You can't advertise your Amazon store the way you think you want to advertise your Amazon store, right? And this goes back to why you need your own website. When he found this out, thankfully, we had built the website for him. And he's like, I just found out. And this was because he just asked for the website and all that. I was like, okay, cool. Came back, he's like, okay, now I want to do Facebook ads. I'm like, oh, great. I know we talked about that. You weren't really interested at that time. Great. And he's like, well, I'm selling the book through Amazon. I was like, but you can't run Facebook ads for your Amazon. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, you do know you can't because you can't set up the pixel on Amazon. At least this was at the time, right? So that kind of stuff there, he's like, okay, great. Well, I have the book, the digital download, right? We can do it from my website. Exactly, because he had the website in place. But if he was like a few other authors that I had worked with before who didn't have a website, and that's the reason why they came to me, they're like, now we want to build a website. You put yourself in that situation. Have that website so you can set it up and connect to third party, storefronts. But at the end of the day, it comes back to your site. You can run ads from your site. You can run all your funnels from your site. And those third party marketplaces, those third party platforms become a part of another funnel. Just that simple. Don't go out here, literally in a boxing match with one arm tied behind your back. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to your brand and your business. Lead magnets. We talked about it. You need them because you're going to exchange something of value for value, right? So, number one, you want to have an ideal customer avatar. Like I said, you want to identify who that customer is. You want to know who that customer is. You need to know who your customers are. Then identify what the value proposition is. What is it that you do? What is it that you're offering that they will find valuable? Not you, they find valuable. In other words, what problem are you solving? What solution are you bringing? Got to make sure you have a good, proper lead magnet name, right? Look at this one. Join 40,000 digital sales and marketing leaders to get their news and insights from the latest. Okay? Delivered to their, look at what it says, delivered to their inbox, right? It's delivered to them 3 times a week. So this company is getting 3 touches. Boom. When we said 5 touches, 3. Boom, boom, boom. 3 times a week just from that email. That probably has a few offers, that probably has a few sales, and then also just has the information because look what it says. It gives them their news and insights. That's the value. They're obviously looking for news and information. So they're offering that to them. Okay? That's how you determine what lead magnet works. What are they looking for? What's the value? Is it an ebook? Is it a tour guide? Is it a guide, just a 1, 2, 3 step, step-by-step guide? Is it a resource list? Resource lists are actually really awesome because a lot of times people don't know where to find that online. So if you offer them, hey, here's a resource list, here's a list of all the places where you can go find out about this loan. Whoa, let me tell you right now, that will work. Interest group invites. This one's been blowing up. A lot of people have been using Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, private groups. They're like, hey, we'll bring you into our group. If you pay attention to what's going on in the world, which is kind of funny, it's kind of what's happening with the club room, right? Or clubhouse, sorry, I said club room, with the rooms in Clubhouse. The funny thing about it is Clubhouse is trying to take what's already being done by groups that are online, right? And it's just trying to change up the format with the app. It might be really successful. Who knows? It's doing what it can now, but overall, some people like it, some people don't. We'll see as it grows. But one of the problems is it's kind of losing some of that allure because it's not private. This way you can say, hey, this is my private group, my mastermind group. Or better yet, this is my group of just, and I can tell you right now, I've seen a group like this that works very well of just investors. There's a couple groups out there that is just like not even 100 investors. And they'll invite an entrepreneur, they'll invite a small business owner. You get an opportunity to build a proposal, make a pitch, a prospectus, all that good stuff. You'll present live, online. And if you're become vested, if they invest in you, you stay a part of the group. If you're not, they say, okay, thank you, but you're no longer part of the group. Okay. That's highly valuable. And let me tell you, there are a lot of small businesses and entrepreneurs that want to sign up for that group. And that's a group online right now. Templates. I use templates. A lot of people use templates because a lot of times you guys don't have the time to do that for yourselves. So these are the things that I built for customers and clients. Why not do the same thing and help my community of small business owners and entrepreneurs? I can help you guys out with that too. Actual templates that I use, right? These are not just theory. This is all about application. Make sure that your conversion selection, that's the one you really want to go for. Brand awareness is great, but brand awareness is something you want to use only when you have a larger budget and you really don't know all the specifics of who you're really going for. You're really trying to get in front of as many people as possible so you can start to truly identify. But I would not use brand awareness if you have a tight budget. Take the time to do as much organic work as you can before you do brand awareness, just because it can get really costly, it can get really expensive, and you want to be really, careful about how you do it. Um, if you're on that tight budget, it's not easy. It's not easy to take a brand awareness campaign and then transition it and try to make it, because with brand awareness, you're basically throwing it out there, shooting in the dark, almost, right? Facebook is a big pool of people, but you want to make sure that's the most accurate pool of people you're going after. Brand awareness not necessarily will help you with that. Conversions on catalog sales, that's what you want to see. Even lead generation would be better, right? But not necessarily brand awareness. If you know who you're going after and you're like, listen, I know this is my target audience, I'm going to get sales out of this. As soon as they come to my site, they're most likely going to buy. Then use brand awareness, especially if you have a nice budget. If you have a really good budget of like, 5,000, 10,000. But if you're working with a really tight budget, a couple of hundred, I would not be using brand awareness if I were you. So that's one thing to keep in mind, especially with Facebook ads, because you'll get such a large pool of people. It's not as targeted as you think it is. Okay. Your ad should look like this. Your ad should be broken down to where it's clear cut what you want, what you're trying to offer at the same time, right? So always choose a conversion option. Like I said, leads, sales, that's what you want. You want leads? Hey, you want data, you want information, because then you can retarget to them, right? You can remarket to them in different ways. Sales, obviously, you want that type of conversion, but that means that you're going for the sale, right? Because you see here in this ad what it's offering: get a free France box upon subscription. So they're offering something to get that subscription, to get them to sign up. If you can do that, go for it. But whatever it is, make sure that call to action is very clear cut and to the point, and it's only one of them. Click here, subscribe now, sign up here, click here to save, learn more. Very specific. And this message at the top should align and correlate with whatever it is that you're positioning them, that you're offering them, and you want them to take that action on, because that's the goal of this, is to take an action. Always install your tracking pixel. Now you see you have numbers here on the Facebook page itself, or I'm sorry, in the ad itself. It says 35 reactions, 5 comments, 1 share. Oh, that's great. Woo woo. That's Facebook. You want to know what's happening on your site. So install the tracking pixel. If you cannot, this is why I went to the client who had the Amazon store, sold his books. If you cannot install the tracking pixel, you can't track, you can't get analytics, you can't get the data that you need. You can't build a database from the information that's being transferred. Then don't run the ad. I'm serious. That there is no question about that. If you cannot install a tracking pixel, if you cannot get the information you need from the ad, do not run the ad. It's that simple. The ad is going to be useless to you. I'm sorry, it is. You may say, oh, well, I get 1 sale. I don't care, 1 sale. You shouldn't care about 1 sale. Are you going to spend $500 for 1 sale? I hope that 1 sale is 10 times $500. Because if it's not, you're going to be running a business that's might not be in business for too long. Just keeping it a bean with you. If you cannot install that ad and you cannot get that data, do not run that ad. Just that simple. How to make a budget. Another great group that I've worked with for helping clients with setting up their sites, and is actually owned by Hootsuite, called Espresso. If you've never used Espresso, definitely check it out. They have great tools, very similar to what Buffer and Active Campaign, very similar to some of the stuff that they do, but they focus more so on the advertising side of the business. Although they do have a lot of things for digital marketing in general for small business owners. They have this really awesome calculator. I have a link to it in the description below. Check it out. It is literally a calculator to identify what is the best budget for the target goal of your ad. Know your numbers. Okay, so if your funnel, you're setting this up and you're saying, okay, I know I want to get $50 for every sale, right? For whatever that product may be. Use a calculator like this to build out what that ad budget should be. Tell you right now, if you don't know your numbers, it's like anything else. If your personal finances, your personal budget, if you don't know your numbers, you run the risk of spending way too much money, wasting a whole lot of time, and then sadly, potentially going out of business. Know your numbers. This calculator is free. It's created by Espresso. Fantastic. I've used it a number of times. I've built calculators like this, and I've built budgets like this, but this is one of the ones that I trust that, outside of the ones we've built, these are one of the ones I trust that, you have regular access to online. So check it out. The ones I built are very customized, specific to our clients. So we didn't have one like that, for this necessary conversation. In fact, if you guys are interested and you would like for me and my team to build a ad budget calculator for you specifically, drop a comment, tag your business. Drop a comment and tag your business in the comments, and we'll reach out and we'll make it happen for you. So, but until then, check out this one from Espresso. It's free to download. Link is also in the description. The sales funnel. We're here. The final tips, right? So you're building out. You're taking this information. You're building out your funnel. A few things though. Okay. We want to make sure that the sales funnel looks something like this. 250,000 people being contacted, top, building awareness with them. But we bring in 2,000 loyal customers. Woo, that would be sweet. That's a great conversion. That's a great conversion. And you look what we're using. First, maybe we're using Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube videos. YouTube videos. What are you looking at right now? YouTube videos. I'm going to say it again. YouTube videos to build awareness. Keywords, visual content, messaging, right? Interest. the keywords in the video, the keywords that are in the description of the video, the keywords in the name of the video. Okay, a call to action. Subscribe here, click here, leave a comment. Who subscribes and downloads? Let's get to it. Making that evaluation. Who's doing it? Who's taking that action? Is the customer taking action? Are they following up on whatever that conversion may be? And then finally, reaching out and retaining them in our ecosystem of customers. That's the funnel. It's just that simple. We've technically built 3 funnels right now. Okay, really we have. What I just went over, we could have taken key points of information, built out 3 funnels right there. So last tips. Number 1, numbers. Like I said, you're going to start out with 250,000 at the top, and it'll be a beautiful conversion if you had 2,000 at the bottom. But you might have 200, you might have 20, but it's a numbers game. If that top of funnel number is really tight and low, like I said with the project managers, there's only, 50 of them out of this neighborhood of 200,000. That's too low. We need to expand it. We need to come back. It's a numbers game. Use paid ads with the intention of converting, not just brand awareness, with converting. So build this awareness by doing something organic like those videos on YouTube if you can't afford a larger budget for when it comes to your ads. And don't forget to use that template or use that ad budget template to help you determine what that budget should be. Always have CTAs, everything. Every single point of your funnel should have a CTA. Click here, buy now, subscribe, call now, comment below. You need to have those. Click here for an ebook. Subscribe for a weekly newsletter. You can do that, of course. Give them a little bit more description. But if you've done enough with the other content, the other text, then they know what they're subscribing for. So saying subscribe, they know what they're subscribing for. Click here, they know what they're clicking here for. Okay? Call, email, DM. The money is in the follow-up. The money is really in the follow-up. If they've taken the time to qualify themselves, why aren't you following up? At the end of the day, follow up until they tell, don't talk to me anymore. I'm done. Or, okay, I'm sold. I'm a customer. And even then, when they're a customer, you still follow up. How's the service going? Are you enjoying the product or the service that I provided you? Do you mind leaving a review? If you're satisfied with our service, will you share with a friend? How many other people like you do you know that I can help? The follow-up. The money is in the follow-up. Until the person says don't contact me, contact them. Just that simple. Just that simple. So, sales funnel. Identify your target audience. Okay, that's number 1. You got to generate that awareness, generate the rapport, get their attention. Understand who they are and understand their needs, and make sure that you have a value proposition so they actually will take advantage of those lead magnets that you have, and they want those lead magnets and exchange something valuable for their data. Okay, make it a relationship. It's not one-sided. It's a relationship. You're giving to get. You're giving to get. You're giving to get. So place your email address in the comments right now. I will send you 3 free templates to assist you in these stages and assist you in some of the areas we brought up, right? Okay, so you get 3 free templates. Number 1 is going to be the customer avatar template. That'll help you identify who the proper customer will be. It literally will help you map out who your customer is. That way you don't have to spend your time trying to run brand awareness ads, spend your money on those, and then worrying about trying to figure it out how to work it online. This will help you basically getting a couple steps up, right, by starting to build this out. Then you get the 1-page digital marketing strategy. Build your strategy in 1 page. Keep it simple for yourself. Keep it straightforward for yourself. Your brand, everything. Keep it really tight for yourself. Okay. Sales funnel template. I mean, it's what we've been talking about. It's why you're here. Why not? Why wouldn't I make a template for you? I just talked about templates, right? Why wouldn't I make a template for you to ensure that you can take it to the next stage? So drop your email in the comments and I will send that to you immediately. Questions. If you guys have any questions, my number one suggestion is, because I don't want, for the sake of time, and I know we're busy, we all got, we got businesses to get to. Follow us on Twitter at askemproltd.com. It will be in the description below. Ask your questions, just tag us, and I am on there every day answering questions for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Let's connect there and make it happen. All right. So I really appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you. I'm Aaron Muhammad, founder of Entrepreneurs Marketing and Promotions, EMProLtd. So it's EMProLtd. Free consultations available for the next few weeks. I'll make sure my calendar is open for that. But number one, make sure you put in your email address so I can send you the free templates, and also following us on Twitter so I can answer your questions. Email me. This is my email address here. And yeah, let's make it happen. If you need, these are the things we cover, but we answer so many questions about other things. So web design, web development, social media promotions, local SEO, graphic design, copywriting, because these are the services that we provide. So, if you're at a stage where you're like, hey, I can't afford necessarily an agency, but I got some basic questions I want to get out of the way, feel free. Leave them in the comments below, but always available on Twitter as well. Peace, everybody. Have a great one. Thank you for joining us today.